Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Suhey with Suhey Plans, and in today's video I am sharing with you a cover to cover flip of my personal rings planner that's serving as my everyday carry for 2025. I'm really excited to share. It's been a while since I shared my personal rings, and I was still really in flux the last time I shared, still kind of playing around with inserts and setups. But I'm feeling really confident in the setup I have now. I've been experimenting with personal rings for a little bit, for almost a year, and only now am I feeling like I've really found my groove. But before we jump in, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button below if you find anything in today's conversation helpful to you. Okay, so let's jump in. So I was so excited to find this gorgeous cover. Let's start with the cover. This is a Gillio Epoca Lotus medium campagna with gold rings, gold 25 millimeter rings. I found this beautiful agenda on the Gillio Buy Sell Trade group on Facebook. I was so fortunate to have found this. It's in beautiful condition, just excellent condition, and the seller had it for a very fair price. And honestly, this is the exact color and size that I wanted. It's been several years since Gillio has had this leather available. So I really wasn't hopeful that I would have this planner in my possession anytime soon. So truly the D stash and the seller really like came through for me and made a dream come true. So shout out to them if they are watching. All right, so this beautiful cover, I'll kind of flip it around. I'm super excited to have this for spring. It's absolutely perfect for spring. Okay, so let's open her up. All right, so we have in the left-hand side two cards with my top goals and a planner owner card in case my planner gets lost, although I never foresee that happening. This is a clean and fresh and refresh reminder, like planner card from Infinite Lotus. This is a little sun eyeglasses clip. The seller no longer makes these, and I really haven't seen them available anywhere else. But if I ever see them come back, I'll definitely try to share on my Instagram. On the right hand side, on the leather flap, I have an Infinite Lotus April 2025 calendar card from the subscription box, the deluxe edition. This beautiful swan with their reflection in the water is also from that sub box, as well as is this page flag metallic clip. And this is by a brand called Coco Fusion. They are really, really cool. They have these page flags in a ton of colors, but I just love how functional it is to be able to clip that on to my leather page flap there. Super, super handy when I need to reach a page flag. And then I have it all together with an ollie clip. And this is a magnetic pin from Sweet Freckle Designs. So I just kept it pretty minimal, very pretty. I have the coordinating gold pen, and this is just a pilot pen. And this is linked in my Amazon storefront if you are curious about picking this up. And that is the deco. Simple, beautiful. I just think it coordinates really nicely with this pink, and I think it does the job. All right, so then after that, I have a New Heights vellum, and this is from Infinite Lotus. Again, in the subscription box. This is an Elamon Paper Co. dashboard. I've had this for a little while. I do love the beautiful little streak of pink, and I just think it coordinates well with this planner cover. So I love that there. This is a Noted Co. 2025 vellum that I use over the 2025 from Elamon Paper Co. This is more like a cardstock. Yeah, this is more of a cardstock dashboard with this vellum calendar dashboard on top just to help me keep track of the months in the year. And I really like the Noted Co. vellum because it also lists what week the number of each week in the year. I do find that really, really helpful in my planning. I'm always constantly referring to that. After that, I have a Catspresso Co. acetate like folder. I don't believe these are sold anymore, but maybe something you can find online somewhere or someone destashing. And I just have a photo from my wedding and a $2 bill that my father gave me shortly before he passed. On the back, I just have a picture of the kiddos with like a little sticky note to serve as a border behind it. After that, I've got this is like a line a day insert from Elamon Paper Co. And I'm personally using this insert as a gratitude a day. Just a couple of short phrases. I love how low stakes, how easy this is. It's in my planner, so wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, I can quickly write a gratitude. It's a really beneficial hobby, but I think having this insert will just help me really stick to it because I know it's important, but I needed something like this that was low stakes and really easy to be able to keep up with that kind of a habit. And I wasn't perfect. I didn't get one for every single day of the year so far, but that's okay. Hopefully April will be a little bit better. It looks like I'm always really consistent at the beginning of the month. So all right. So that's been a great habit. And these are again from Elamon Paper Co. And I have all of the months of the year in here. I could probably have less if I just wanted my rings binder to feel a little lighter, but it really doesn't take up a ton of room. So I have every month through the end of the year. And these are dated specifically for 2025, so it also has the day of the week and the number of the day as well. So after that, I am using a Wise coffee break. When I forget what these are called, I will link them below though. And I am using this kind of like two pronged or like two grid boxes per page with almost like a checklist column. I'm using this for future planning. So I have the top grid for 2025, the bottom for 2026. I have one for 2027, 2028. This is really for future planning. If I had something that I knew was coming up in 2027, I would just jot that here. I'm really not doing very much so far out. So one insert is really all I need there. Then I'm using those same exact inserts to do future planning, but on a monthly basis. So I started using these inserts in October, which is why mine starts with November. So I have November, December, and obviously those months have passed: January, February, March, April, May, and June. And I actually need to I need to print out a couple more so I can have July, August, etc. And I use these again for future planning, things that I know are coming up, but on a monthly basis, right? So my birthday's coming up in June, so I've already jotted that down here. I find that really helpful just as I think ahead on a yearly basis and then on a monthly basis. So after that, I have my first tab divider. These are from Noted Co. And the first one states schedule in that white font. And the first thing that I have after that that schedule divider is a clear vellum from Infinite Lotus with the letter R that says recharge to revive or restore energy. But I'm kind of using the R as a vellum for my routine insert. This is an insert that I was able to customize from Crafective paper. And I was able to kind of customize what my ideal morning and evening routines would look like. I am not going to tell you, I won't lie to you and tell you that this is my routine at the moment. This is my ideal routine. In a perfect world, what would morning and evenings look like? And I just like to leave this here first as a reminder of what I want to constantly aspire to in regards to my routine. This would be like a perfect day if I could follow this routine. So I just keep it there for inspiration. And some days I get real close and some days I don't. But it's a helpful reminder of what I want to achieve. After that, I have a Latua Notes annual perpetual calendar. Sorry. And what I'm using this for is to track PTO, sick time, and kids, and as well as work holidays. So I can track which days I took off sick, what were holidays, if the kids had a half day, and just their schedule, and keeping that here at any given time. So I know, like, for example, I think in April this month, my kids have a half day and a day of no school. So that's something that I'll keep here to always be able to refer to. And then I'll print this out freshly for the new year. And so we're not like, so this schedule section is not referring to my 9 to 5 per se. It's just all things schedule. After that, I have my daughter's weekly school schedule. So what class she's in at any given moment. Then my son's school schedule, where he is at any given moment. And then after that, I jump into the more formal, I like your more formal schedule. I have my Rosie Papeterie. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me backtrack. These schedules, this is just grid note paper from Sterling Ink. This is Tomoy River paper. So it's really thin. And I'll just do another one of these for the next academic year. And I just have a couple of this paper. It's very thin, but I love it because it doesn't take up a lot of space. And I just kind of wrote this in myself. This is a little bit of a DIY. I have Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The pink is for my daughter. The blue is for my son. After that, I've got a Rosie Papeterie month on 2-page insert, where I just have a 2-page calendar spread and then some, some overall like monthly overview on the back. And so there's January, there's February, March, April, and May. Let me jump to, oh, really quickly before I jump to a clean insert for you to see. I just have like a bit of a DIY tab here, where I have the month, like a sticker with the month, and just like a little sticky note to create like a DIY divider there. Let's see if I can reach for them. So these are from Rosie Papeterie. These are tab sticky notes, and I constantly use them to kind of DIY some of my dividers in my personal rings. Very, very handy. All right, so let me flip to like a really blank. I have all of the months in the year here. So, and again, they don't take up a ton of space, but I have all the months in here through December. So this kind of shows you what a blank spread looks like. Room on the left-hand side for some notes, the months prior and following on the bottom left corner. It's a Monday through Sunday schedule. And then on the back, you have just some notes, lined room for some notes, another overview of the month's calendar, 4 goals, a very ample to-do list, a section for important dates and notes. Super, super functional. I know these boxes probably seem on the small side, but I do have small handwriting, so it does work for me. Here's kind of April so far, right? And I have like 2 things happening on any given day. That's probably the most that I'm going to have going on 2 days, like on any one day's 2 large events. So I'm able to kind of make it work with my smaller handwriting in this size. And that's just something to keep in mind if you are considering personal rings. I know the limitations of size might not work for everybody. So something to think about. So I have these inserts in here all the way through December. Again, not needed, but I like to have it kind of all here. And with these 25mm rings, I have the space. All right. So then after that, I have my next, it's kind of like an ad hoc section. This is like a plastic divider. And I think that I just took like a piece of plastic and cut it down to personal ring size and punched it. And then using those Rosie Papeterie sticky note tabs, I created like a weekend section. I work full time, and you know, it's just so much to try to fit everything into the Monday through Friday schedule. So I'm always constantly thinking of things in the week that I want to leave for the weekend, which is when I have the most time. And so that's why I created this section. I have this Infinite Lotus dashboard here, just like for deco. And then what I have is I have that same Wise Coffee Break insert, but now instead of using it for the yearly or monthly view, I'm using each section to represent a weekend. So this is the weekend of 322, the weekend of 329, and I will just jot down things that I want to make sure I get done in that upcoming weekend, right? So, oh, this weekend for 5 Easter baskets, yes. My sister's baby registry, yes, got to get that gift. So anything that I want to make sure I do on the upcoming weekend, I will use this insert for. I really love this Wise Coffee Break insert. It is so versatile. Here's what it looks like clean. It is so versatile. There are really 101 ways I think you could use this. I really, really do like this insert very much. And this is a printable. This one is a printable. When I probably should have mentioned below, but just leave me a question in the comments if you're not sure whether one of the inserts I've shown you is a printable or something that I purchased printed. But I'll try to remember that moving forward. All right, so I have a couple blank of those because the weekends go quickly. All right, and now after my weekend organizer, so to speak, I now have my week at a glance. These are printed inserts from Rosie Papeterie, and they essentially give you 1 week on one page. Let's go to a clean page so I can show you what they're like. I use them heavily. I really, really like them. They're really comprehensive, and they really have enough space for all the things that I need to consider. All right, so I think I have, okay, right here. So we've got, is it accurate to say that they're a mirror image? No. So on each of the inserts, you have this week for a small like goal. I like to use that space for like the number one thing that's happening in that week. 3 priorities, an overview of the entire week from Monday through Sunday, trackers for 5 items, a small note section, and then a healthy to-do list with a little check mark section. So a lot can fit into this one insert, and that's why I love it so much. And this is kind of how I'm using it. Let's see if I can find a really, I mean, what week is not busy? Oh, and I don't keep, for these, I don't keep them from the start of the year to the end of the year. Because I do so much daily planning, and we'll get into that, I don't always keep all of my weekly inserts. I just move them to a storage binder after a couple weeks pass. All right, so yes, I'm really enjoying using this. This is kind of what it will look like. This is next week for me. This is the week that just passed. Really find these super functional, and I have all the way through the end of May inserts in here. So I absolutely love those. So after my week, now I'm going into my dated dailies. And these are also printed. I'm sorry, these are also purchased. I tried so hard to do the printable daily inserts, but it drove me crazy. Just having to print 365 of these plus, because there's always a title page for each month and a notes page for each month. I just couldn't do it. So if I continue in personal rings, I'm going to continue to invest in getting these printed. It's just a lot easier. Saves me a lot of time and grief. So these are also from Rosie Papeterie, and they're also super handy. I use them every single day because I am a daily planner. I like to keep, as you can see, I like to keep my year at a glance, my month at a glance, my weekends at a glance, my week at a glance, and my day. I think that's a little bit, that could be a lot for some folks, and I completely understand that, but that's just personally, that kind of breakdown really works for me. So yeah, I am using these. I'll show you a blank daily. I have room for 3 priorities, a healthy to-do list, notes, and then a timeline schedule with 30 minutes increments. Amen to 30-minute increments. I just feel like I need 30-minute increments in my life. We need all the daily planners. If you're listening, create inserts and planners in 30-minute increments. Sometimes like every 30-minute counts. I don't know. So that really works for me. And I have a 7 a.m. and technically I like to use like 7 a.m. Let me see if I can point that out for you guys. 7 a.m. for me starts right here. So then this line, this like section here is a 6:30. So I technically have a 6:30 all the way until 9:30 in this with this layout. But obviously you don't need to use it in that same way, but I like that there's a 30-minute possibility with these inserts, and they are dated for me. with the day of the week, and the month that we are in. Super clean, beautiful, amazing quality. Just absolutely love these inserts, and I will keep my dailies for the entire month in my agenda. And then the end page is usually a open notes page for whatever you might need to jot down. So after that, I have my next section in my divider, and that is, oh, wait, sorry, before I move on, I also have some more DIY dividers here, that weekend divider, and then a today divider to mark, give or take, where I am in my day. I would really love to not DIY my weekend and today tabs, but it is really hard to find bottom tab dividers. I am on the hunt for bottom tab dividers in personal rings. When I find them, I will swap from this DIY. Until then, I will DIY it. So I have this notes divider, and I have this really beautiful like reflection of water from the infinite Lotus sub box there. It's just really, really pretty. I love that. And then I have sterling ink, Tomoe River paper, personal size grid notebook paper. It's very thin. I can get a lot of notes pages with not as much room taken up in my agenda. So I really like using these sterling ink papers for that. They're pre-punched, and they come in a pack with a good amount. And I think you can also get them with gold foiling if you'd like. But I went with just like the regular, not gold foil option. So after that, I've got my next tab. My next divider is my finance divider. And I have this really pretty like koi fish. I think, oh my gosh, I could be wrong, but I do believe that koi fish evokes like luck and perseverance. Ooh, that kind of might be wrong. But I do think that there is some kind of symbolism with koi fish that felt appropriate to me for my finance section. And this is a freebie that you can find linked in my bio. I'll link that below where you can find my freebies folder, and you can just print this out. And I think I have it in a few sizes, and I'm using that on a vellum. And you can get this vellum at Staples or Michael's or any office supply store, even on Amazon. And then behind it, I have this really beautiful Infinite Lotus, like black and white marble dashboard that I think just pairs really beautifully. So then after that, I'm using Infinite Lotus undated budget calendar inserts. And I started using these inserts. They're a month on two page with a Monday start, and they have like a column to the left for this week. And with some budgeting, like summary information section on the bottom of the right page. And I use this in January to log my grocery spending, but I definitely moved away from that just because I didn't feel like I was being exorbitant with my groceries. But when I thought about what I really wanted to start tracking, I thought about my personal spending. And I'm like, okay, yeah, this might be something a lot more helpful that might need a lot more rethinking. Oh, and I apologize that my lighting changed a little bit there. So I started tracking instead of groceries. I started using this 2-page insert to track personal spending. So I just dated it myself. I used a dot marker and numbered it. And then I just wrote down all of the things that I bought for me. No one else. No one else benefits from the purchase but me. And I just started writing those down in this budget calendar. And it's a good way to stay accountable for how much spending I do on things like clothing or shoes or stationery. So I've found it very helpful to just have a look and just help me keep accountable and stay in budget for those personal items. This is what it looks like blank. I think it's very clean. I appreciate the lines in each box just to keep my handwriting neat. And so this is a really great insert. This was also in one of the subscription boxes. So this was a purchased insert, not a printable. It might be available as a printable, though. It would be worth checking out for sure. So I have a couple of pages of those. I have a one page order, it's back and forth, an order tracker. Happy Mail is on the way. And this just helps me keep track of some of my orders. And this is from my minimal planner. It's front and back. I will usually like dump this after a month or so. So I only keep one in here. It's more than enough. All right. So after that, and I keep that in my finance section again, because I think it's just an easy, like it's easy to put something in my budget calendar and then write it in the order tracker right after that. After that, I have a debt tracker. This is a printable insert by Infinite Lotus. And I am really liking this insert, and I am using it as a way to track student loan debt and any other kinds of debts that I want to pay down. I don't have like a ton of credit card debt, thankfully, but I think my student loan debt is probably like the number one thing that I'm actively working on. And so I really like using these inserts for that. I have them filled out in the following pages, so I'm going to skip through those because it's clear, it's private. But I'm really enjoying these. I have the account, the creditor, the minimum payment, the interest rate, the due date, and the goal date. I think that's such a handy addition, a goal date, something really important to think about as you're paying off any kind of debt. And then there's a payment log in 3 columns with the date, amount, and your balance, and then a payoff progress bar on the bottom, which I think is also very motivational to see you like keep filling this in as you go. So those have been really nice, and I'm enjoying using them. Okay, so after that, I have a yearly overview insert. Now, this one is not specific for finance the way some of those other inserts have been, but I am deciding to use this yearly overview insert, and this was in one of these Infinite Lotus sub boxes as a way to track content creator earnings over the year. And so you have a January through December timeline, and then you have 3 columns that are unlabeled that you can use as you wish. So what I do here is I keep like my Amazon affiliate earnings, anything from Shopify. I just did a collaboration with Golden Coil, etc., etc., etc. And then it's nice because you get a bar at the bottom for totals so that you can total up all of that in the year. So there's so many ways that you can use this. You can use this to track a bill that fluctuates. So maybe you want to track your heating or your cooling expenses. You know, what was your light bill in January? What was your light bill in February? And a way to see kind of how your energy use fluctuates over the year, or anything that you really want to see in like a snapshot in a year's worth of time. I thought this was a really, really cool insert, and I have several blank just because of more things. I can see there being a lot of different functions for this. So I'm keeping a couple extra blanks in here to be able to use at my discretion because I think they're very, very, very handy. All right. So then after that, I have another Infinite Lotus insert, but this one is a printable, and this is a simple wish list. I have 3 categories on one page. Within each category, you get a place to add the item or the store, and then the price, and then a small circle to check off whether or not you got that thing from your wish list. And I have that. I just have one insert because, you know, the more you wish, that can get you into trouble. So one insert is just fine, and that's my finance section. After that, I've got my last noted code divider. It's Miscellaneous. And this one, for like full transparency, this divider is missing, this set of dividers is missing a projects and a goals divider that came with this set, but I am using I'm using projects and goals in a different ring binder, so that's why I don't have them in my main everyday carry. And I can talk more about that in a different video. I'm still working on that. I just felt like the projects and the goals were either repetitive in another planner or they just didn't quite make sense in an everyday carry, so I took those 2 out. So we've jumped straight to Miscellaneous. And I have an Infinite Lotus vellum that says inhale, hold, exhale. I just love the beautiful typography with this motif cloth and paper dashboard that I've had forever. And so I just like that layering, and so I keep that in there. And in my miscellaneous, I have all of my birthdays that I track. I have this one insert, and maybe if it gets a little dingy, I'll refresh it. But it's just a helpful way to me to keep track of all of my friends and family's birthdays. And then after that, I have a routines bundle from Infinite Lotus. I'm still like really working on how I want to use this, but I think it's helpful for me to think about my routines. This is a printable insert, and it asks you to think about your annual, your semi-annual, your quarterly, your seasonal routines, as well as your monthly and weekly routines. Again, I am really trying to figure out the best way to maximize using this insert, but I do think it's important, and I do keep it here in my miscellaneous section of my rings everyday carry. And then the weeks keep going for 52 weeks worth. And then after that, I just have like this plastic divider thing as a page lifter that I think I just cut and punch myself. And there it is. Then in the back of my planner, I have a 30-day no-buy card from Infinite Lotus, which I want to start filling out for April. And I want to continue into May on a no-buy. Lord, it's not easy. Sorry, I don't want to use his name in vain, but it is not easy. I've got sticker sheets with essential planning labels and these little ash gray dot stickers. I have these cute little stickers from Every Minute Story that I don't know what else to do with, and they're pink, so here they are. And then I have a little sticky notes bundle that says reminder, and this is from Infinite Lotus. And that is my personal rings everyday carry. I am keeping things very functional. I think things like my finance, notes, schedule, those are things that I'm worrying about on an everyday basis. So I think they're just perfect as an everyday carry. And all of that fits very well in 25mm rings. And I don't have anything right now in the back pocket. And that's okay. So I hope that this flip through was helpful. I'm really enjoying the level of customization that I can have in personal rings, especially with something like my schedule, where I want to think about weekends and several years ahead, and my kids' schedule and my PTO schedule. There's just a level of customization that is really hard to achieve, I think, with a bound system. And so I've really been enjoying personal rings, and I'm certainly here to stay. I think next for me is to start thinking about the supplemental rings that I want to put together with projects and goals and other kinds of things that I don't need to carry with me every day, but I do think would be helpful to have. So thank you so much for watching, y'all. If there's anything that I didn't address, or if you have any questions about the inserts or the different things that you saw here, please don't hesitate to drop them below. Thanks so much for watching, y'all.